What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? Happy Saturday. Hope all is well. Love and light, guys. Give a few minutes to you guys to jump on in the live. Yeah, I just finished eating my lunch, breakfast slash lunch here at work. I don't stop. Um, so today, guys, I was supposed to have an interviewer on, and she canceled at the last minute. I was really looking forward to having her on, talking about different insurance plans. So I'm gonna have her on at a later date. Okay. She texted me like last minute and she was sick. And yeah, so I understand things happen, shit happens, it's okay. So I decided to, I had to come on here and do something. So I wanted to talk about debt consolidation, okay? Something that I had to do. And I'm gonna go into further in more detail. As I said, guys, I'm very transparent about my whole process of this DR thing. I'm very transparent. So if I can provide information for you guys to help y'all navigate through this, then so be it. And sometimes I have to put some of my personal, info out there. But if it's going to help somebody else elevate, then why not? Why not do it? Sharonda, what's going on? So I want to talk about, consolidating now. When I first, before I started building, guys, I'm gonna be real with you guys. My credit score was like 720. It was like a 720 when I first started building. When I got my car, my Mercedes Benz, when your credit is good enough to where you can go into a car dealership and get you a car with zero down. So I pretty much my credit score was that good to whereas I went in there and got me my Mercedes Benz with zero down. I didn't have to put a dime down, zero. And they managed to lower my insurance. So it was a win-win for me. Okay. So yeah, it was about and this we're talking back in 2020. I didn't start construction on my home until March of 2021. So once I got started with the construction, I found myself drowning, guys. I'm being real. I found myself drowning because I was overwhelmed with, you know, the quality of life, having to pay my rent and everything else in New York, on top of building, a home in Dominican Republic. So I was barely making, my minimum payments. I was barely making minimum payments on my credit cards and store cards, and it got to a point where I just couldn't do it no more. I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. It is what it is. I started to default on all my cards. I had about 16 credit cards altogether, on top of my loans and car loans and all that stuff. So I had about 16 accounts, guys. I had about 16 accounts. So I got to a point, like I was saying, I was only able to make the bare minimum, and the balances weren't going down. I was just all I was paying was the interest. That's all I was paying was the interest. I didn't see any of the principal going down. So I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. I At that point I decided to reconsolidate. Well, I tried to reconsolidate my credit. I went to the credit union. They denied me for credit reconsolidation. So I ended up having, because my credit score was so low at that point. It was so low. I mean, it went from a 720 to about 490. That's how low it went, guys. That's how low went. But listen here. Listen, I hope you guys are listening. So at that point, I reached out to a credit consolidation company, which the name of the company that I reached out to was Credit Debt Relief. Okay. And this is what they advised me. Once, I told them, they asked me, okay, how many accounts you have? I told them all the accounts that I had. They wanted statements from every last account. So I sent them all these statements, and they told me, they said, okay, um, this is what you're going to do, Mr. Taylor. And this is what they advised me, and this is what I'm going to advise you. Only because you don't have to hire a credit consolidation company to repair your credit. You guys can do this on your own. Yeah, it might take a little legwork to do it, but at the end, you're not paying this company a fee. The idea is to avoid having to pay the middleman and doing the legwork yourself. So basically, what they advised me, they said, okay, Mr. Taylor, what you're going to do is you're going to keep one credit card. You're going to keep one credit card. So I kept one credit card, and everything else they advised me to stop paying. They said, stop paying all your debts. Stop. From this day, you're going to stop paying. And then they said, how much could you afford? Because at that point in time, I was paying my monthly expenses. We're talking about just credit cards alone. My monthly expenses was about I was paying about over $1,000 a month in debts. Okay, paying about over $1,000 a month in debt, drowning. See no relief. So they told me to stop paying everybody. They said you keep one credit card, which I kept, and then I didn't. I kept continue to pay my car loan and my personal loan through the credit union. Those three I kept, because what's going to happen is you still need some kind of credit history. Okay, so you keep the ones that are not default, the ones that mean the most to you. You know, so I'm still paying on my car loan, still paying on my personal loan, and I still have my credit card, right? So everybody else, I stopped paying. So now what happened was, once I stopped paying them, I kept getting bombarded with calls. Credit card companies kept calling. They kept calling me. The consolidation company told me, put your phone on silent mode for unknown calls. So that's what I did. So now we're talking about a year later now. See, so now what happens is, all of those credit card companies that I stopped paying, they pretty much was charged off. Okay, they pretty much was charged off, because you figure, once you stop paying, after I say a year of stop paying, the credit card company's like, okay, we know we're not getting no more money from him, so they say they charged it off. So those accounts became closed. Okay, see, so now what happens is, depending on the credit card company, okay, they are allowed to sell you information, in which they did. They sold my information to third parties. Okay. Now, what these third parties, they buy my credit information from the original debts for pennies on a dollar. We're talking, they might have bought my information for about $20, right? So now what happens is, my original creditor. Just give you an example. Credit One was one of the creditors that I owed. Credit One sold my information to a third party. I don't know how much they bought it for, but it showed up on my credit report. All right. So what you guys need to be doing is checking, periodically, Credit Karma. Even though Credit Karma is not the most effective a site to check your credit, if you want to check your credit, you guys need to go on annualcreditreport.com. You are allowed to access your credit report for free once a year. You go on there, you provide all the information you need, or they need, and then at that point, they'll provide you with your credit report from all three major credit bureaus. Okay, all three major credit bureaus they'll provide you with that. So once I got on Credit Karma alerted me what was in collections. Okay, so now what happens is, once your information is sold to these third party debtors, you can at that point negotiate. Now you have options. Now, if you want somebody that is looking to repair your credit, okay, then you repair it. If you're somebody that doesn't give a shit, you have no intentions on repairing your credit, you wait for 7 years, and then it will clear off your credit report. And sometimes you have to contact the credit bureau to get it removed. Okay, so now what happens is, I looked at my credit report through Credit Karma, and it alerted me that there were three accounts that I needed to look into. The three accounts was Credit One. I owed them $1,900 and something dollars. The other one was King Size, and the other one was Finger Hut. Yeah, guys, Finger Hut is still around. Okay, so what I did was I called each and every one of them. I called Finger Hut. I called Credit One, and King Size. I called them. Now, what happens is what you want to do for those of you guys who want to clear your credit within a certain amount of time. You have 2 years to take care of those accounts. Because what happens is if you settle, if you pay it off, your credit score can go up, and it's significantly, significantly. We're talking about anywhere from like 20 to 23 points. So it's better to take care of anybody that you owe within that 2 year frame, so that your points will go up significantly. So what I did was I called Credit One. I owed them, like I said, 1,900, and I forget exactly. So what I told them, and this is what you guys got to do: you lowball them, because at the end of the day, they done already got the original debt. They done already got paid off. They done already got paid. So these are third parties that you're talking to. So I called them up. I told them, I said, listen, it's a holiday time. I don't really have a whole lot of money. I'm unemployed. I'm on a fixed income. I want to make this right. I only have $700. This is all that I have. I want to make it right. I want to just settle if I can. And this is what they told me. Oh, Mr. Taylor, that's too low of an amount. Um, let me see what we can do and try to get this negotiated, right? So they get back to me. They put me on hold. They figure out whatever they wanted to figure out on their end, and then they get back to me and they tell me that they're only willing to settle for 1,500 and change. I wasn't happy with that. I wasn't happy with it. Part of me was really, this is what they said. Okay, well, you can give us the 700, and then you can make monthly payments of $79 for a year until it's paid off. Still wasn't happy with that, because at the end of the day, guys, the original debt was already paid off. So why am I paying a third party $1,500 off the bat? When y'all only bought my information for $20. So this is what I did. I told them. I called them back, and I told them. I said, look, that $700 I told you I had, I no longer have that. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do here. They cannot tell you no. They cannot tell you no, because Credit One was on. I had to take care of this account only because they're ready to take me to court. They're ready to take me to court. So I told them, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you $100 as a down payment, and I'm going to pay you $15 every week for 2 years until it's done. Okay? So, and they can't tell you no, because you offered them what you could pay, and they have to accept it, whether they want to or not. Okay? So when you're facing a situation like that, never pay them what they want. You pay them what you want to give them, okay? And it still will bring down your credit score over time. It'll bring it down over time, okay? Because what ends up happening is that you once you start making that payment, they have to report that to the credit bureau every month, informing the credit bureau that you are making payments. So over time, your credit score will go up. It won't go up significantly, but it will go up gradually. All right. So that's what you do. So basically, what I did was I started with my lowest debt first. Right. I paid off King Size, and this is King Size. I owed them $381. I managed to talk them down to 210. So I saved $170. Right. I saved $170. So this is what you guys got to do. Once you stop paying your debts, once you stop paying whoever you owe, let's just say, like I told you guys, my monthly debt was $1,000. So once I stopped paying them, I started taking. I didn't take the whole 1,000 now. And that 1,000 that I was paying out every month, I took half of that and I opened up a savings account and I put that money into that account. Okay? Put that money into that account. So, and I kept saving it because within a year or so, I knew that I was going to be tackling down whoever I owed. You know what I mean? Because once you're paying your debts and you're only making minimum payments, you're never going to see the principal go down. So me not paying them is an opportunity for me to lowball their asses, right? Lowball the third party and then get it cleared off my debt eventually. So now, my when I started out, my credit score was like 490. Now my credit score is a 588. Okay, and I just paid two of those debts. So within by next month, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you step by step where it was and where it's at now, so that you guys can see, where I'm at. And I know a lot of you guys are probably saying to yourselves, "Oh, that was irresponsible of you," and all of that. Yeah, I went in debt. I did go in debt, and what American is not in debt? But you got to be smart. How many businessmen file bankruptcy every year and then start up another business? You have to learn the system and learn how this works. So yeah, I went in debt, but at the end of the day, I went in debt building a house. I have something to show for. A lot of us go in debt buying, the next latest Jordans and the next materialistic stuff people go in debt for. I have something to show for, so yeah. I mean, was I depressed in the beginning? Yeah, who wouldn't be? I was in a good credit score at one point in time. But I will get back there. I will get back there. So this is what you do. You stop paying those creditors, whatever, all that extra money that you now have. You have to be disciplined and responsible with this money. You put it in a separate account, and then you hold that money for a year, maybe a year and a half. If you can save up to, you don't want to go over 2 years. You want to hold that money for maybe, let's just say, a year and 10 months, right? And then you contact all those people. And this is the thing, guys, I will tell you, just so you know, out of those 16 accounts that I owed, right, only 3 showed up on my credit report. Only 3. Only 3 showed up. And the 3 that showed up, showed up in collections. So, and the thing about it is, I'm like, damn, I was shocked because I'm thinking that a lot of my debt was going to be in collections. Once you get those out of collections, you're good to go. You're good to go. And if in case one of the third party, one of the people that they sold your information to, if in case they do call you, they're calling you so that you can acknowledge that you owe. Do not acknowledge that you owe them, because once you acknowledge that you owe them, what's going to happen is the day that you say, yeah, Macy's, I do owe you, and no one, it's not even Macy's, it's the third party. Once you acknowledge that you owe, they're going to start reporting you back to the credit bureau, and then it's going to bring down your score more and more and more. So never, I repeat, never acknowledge that you owe these third parties. The original creditors that already got charged off. It's already charged off. The only way you take care of it is if it's in collections. Okay? If it's in collections, I say take care of it. Only, especially if you're looking to finance a car within the next year or so, buy a home within the next year or so. Whatever's in collections, you have to take care of. Anything outside of that, guys, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. But I highly advise, everybody should be going on, checking their credit report once a year. Annualcreditreport.com will allow you to check your credit report once a year. It's an official website, and you'll get every bureau. The major 3 credit bureaus will show up on your credit report, and that way you know what's on there. You know what's on there. Yeah, because I know a lot of us, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't become financially responsible until I was in my 30s. It took me to my 30s to get there. I'm here now, But now that I know what I know how to navigate. I'd say within another 7 months or so, my credit score will be where it needs to be. And once you guys get your credit score to where it needs to be, don't F it up. Don't F it up. You don't need no more than one or two major credit cards. And if you can't afford to buy it with cash, don't use your card. Don't use it. Credit cards are used purposely for emergencies, okay? And really take advantage of the cash back. You know, everything that you paying your bills with, you should be using your card with and putting it right back on your card. So that way you are getting cash back on your credit card. These are the advantages that we should be taking. Anything other than that, we shouldn't be using our credit cards for nothing else. You know, I'm restoring, repairing my credit only because within another year or so, my personal loan will be paid off, and I plan on taking out another personal loan. So this is why I'm doing all that I can do now to clear up my credit so that I can take out another personal loan. And once once your credit score hits 650, 620, 650, you're pretty much in the clear. You're in the clear. So don't get discouraged if you got a bad credit score, guys. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm giving you the tools you need so that you can do it. And as I said, you don't need to hire a consolidation company to do this. You can do all the legwork if you know yourself. And if you don't, you're pretty much just being lazy. You're pretty much being lazy. Yeah. So, and the reason why I'm doing all of this now because I give myself, a couple of more years before I transition myself to DR. I want to be able to establish credit there. And the only way you can establish credit in the DR, your credit's got to be good here first. It's not, they don't go into like, they don't go digging deep into your credit history like they do here in the States, but you do have to have at least a 620 to 650 in order to be qualified, for credit in DR, And this is pretty much the route I went. And like I said, I give myself about a year or so, and I'll be back to up in the 700s where I was in the beginning. Yeah. It's not, and I was just telling, all this is what I was telling you guys. I told my, because I have a friend that's struggling right now. And I told him, I said, bro, what's the point of struggling? You're barely, making ends meet right now on top of you paying just the minimum payments. You're not going to see any relief. You're not going to see any relief. So that's pretty much where I'm at now, reconsolidating everything myself so that within like the next year or so, I'll be able to get a loan. I'll be able to do a lot. We don't in this country. You don't need the capital. As long as you got the credit, you can get the capital. You know what I'm saying? As long as you got the credit, you can get the capital. Crazy World, I just paid off my cards again for the third time. No more. Exactly, man. Exactly. We don't realize how much of a curse credit cards really are. You know, I was one of those persons, I want a credit card. And then once I got there, I'm just like, oh, fuck, See, people don't realize, for those of you who don't know, let's just say you get approved for a credit card for about $5,000. You can only use 30% of that. Once you go over that 30%, your credit score automatically goes down. It goes down, and then what happened with me, I seen what happened with me with one of the credit cards that I had, my balance was like I had a limit to about 8,000. And they kept giving me credit increases. And that's only to drown you even more. Don't fall into that trap, guys, because once you owe $8,000 or more on a credit card, you'll never pay that shit back because the interest rates are so high. They make it impossible. So you might as well just stop paying it. Just stop paying it. Yeah, because you'll be paying that card forever, forever. And store cards have higher interest rates on them opposed to a regular credit card. So try to stay clear away from store credit cards. Only use what you need. And I'll tell you some of the ones that I think it's important to have, especially if you're like a homeowner. Home Depot, Lowe's, those cards for sure. You definitely need a Home Depot and a Lowe's card. Um, Once I get my credit back to where it was, Home Depot card, a Best Buy, and a major credit card. That's it. I don't need nothing more than that because now pretty much I'm paying everything out of pocket anyway. I'm paying everything out of pocket anyway. So for somebody like myself, it's not gonna be a problem for me to be disciplined in terms of managing money, only because I'm already paying everything out of pocket. And I want to make mention another thing. Now, once you, sometimes I'll be all over the place. Once you decide, okay, once you pay off your credit, right? Now it's like, okay, your credit score done went up significantly, but it's not to where you want it to be. So what you need to do is get a secured credit card, okay? And you can, I would advise you getting a secure credit card from a major credit card company, not no Rinky Dink, not no Credit One. Credit One is the worst card company to get a credit with, only because they just sold my information. BJ's didn't sell my information. I owe them $8,000. They're not in collections, but Credit One is. So that just goes to tell you, when you are seeking to open up a credit card account, I suggest you open up a card with a reputable credit card company. Not nothing that we not familiar with. You know what I mean? Stay clear away from those because those are the ones that's going to sell your information if in case you end up defaulting on the payments. All right. So now, once you cleared up your credit, like I said, and your credit score, and let's just say your credit score, you were at a 500 and now it's at a 600, but you're still not in the 620, 650 range. So now what you're going to do, you're going to look for a secured credit card, preferably Capital One has secure cards. I can't open up an account with Capital One because I still owe them, so it's a no for me. Capital One, American Express, I think Discover. Look for one of those companies that offers a secured credit card. Okay, you started with Capital One. I did too. When I before this before because I've been through this before, guys. This ain't my first rodeo. Just so you know, I done been through this once before. First time I messed up my credit, I was young and dumb. And Capital One actually helped me to build my credit back to where it was in the 700s. Now, what they do is once you open up a secure credit card, what that allows you to do is build your credit back up. Now, you, I would say, usually when you're opening up a secure card, the minimum is 500 and the maximum is 2,000. So they allow you to put between 500 to $2,000 on that card, right? Once you put that money on that card, that money is no longer yours. It's yours, but it's not yours. You're going to put that money on that card, and now that becomes your credit limit. So whatever now just keep in mind, just because you put your own money on there doesn't mean that you're entitled to it the way you think. Okay, so let me explain. If you put $2,000 on a secure card, you can only charge 30% of that. If you go over the 30% of that $2,000, it's going to bring your credit score down. So just keep that in mind. Try as hard as you can to stay under the 30%. Because what the credit card company wants to see, they want to see that, you are responsible and you're making the payments on time. And not just that, you're paying your balances off, quickly. Okay. So let's just say you got $500 on the card. At that 500, you can only spend 150, right? Every month, that 150, let's just say your light bill is 150. Pay your light bill with that credit card and put the cash back on the credit card. And that's what's going to build your credit history. And then before you know it, that $500 limit is going to go from 5 to 1,000 to 15 to 2,000, and then before you know it, your credit score will be back to where it is. But you got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined. It's important that you guys know you cannot go over the 30%. You know, a lot of us think that, oh, we got $5,000 credit limit, we can spend it all. You spend it all, you better make sure you got the $5,000 to put it back on before it reaches the credit bureau. Otherwise, your credit score is going to go down. Yeah. So these are just some tidbits, that things that I didn't know. You know, I didn't know these things, and talking to people, doing my research is how I became, you know, pretty much successful at it. And now that I know the ins and outs in terms of how to build your credit back up, I'm going to be doing this as a business. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that. Let me tell you something. Uh, repairing credit is a great job. You can set your prices to however you want. Okay, and I got my first client here at my job. You know, I was telling her what I was doing. She said, "Oh, you know how to repair credit?" I said, "Yeah, I repair my own credit. You start with yourself, and then you start with people you work with. Before you know it, guys, you know it's like any business, word of mouth. One friend tells the other friend tells the other friend, and then before you know it, you got about 10 to 15 clients. You see what I'm saying? And as I said, guys, it doesn't take a whole lot of schooling to do this. All this can be done on YouTube, you know, and doing your due diligence by researching this stuff. But it's very, very easy to do, especially once you know the ins and outs of it. And also, I want to talk about discrepancies and things like that. How to get things off your credit report if you see something that is not there. You can okay, let's say for instance your information was sold to a third party. Your original debt was charged off, and the third party is calling you and they got your name wrong. They got your full name wrong. That's something that can be disputed. That's something that can be disputed with the credit bureau, and it can be removed. So if they have your wrong address, if they have your wrong name, all of those things can be disputed and can be removed off your credit reports. Just so you know that. All right. So it takes, once you get started, you know, it can become a little challenging, but once you do it, after a few times, you become an expert at it, and then before you know it, you know you'll be doing this full time as a full time gig. Because I know somebody that quit their traditional job to do this. It's a lot of money involved in this, guys. It really is. So if you're one of those people that's looking to work remotely, this might be an ideal job. And you know what? This is something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy calling these third parties and lowballing their asses until I can get the lowest amount that I can get. But one thing I will tell you guys, if you decide to become to do credit repair, one thing I will tell you is that when it comes to your clients, you need to be transparent with them. Don't give them false hope. Okay, false hope meaning, like for me, with my coworker, and I'm doing her credit now. I told her, I said, one thing I can promise you. I said, I can promise you that I could bring up your credit score, okay? But I can't promise you that I can remove everything, okay? And if you want everything removed, you might have to pay to have some things removed. But I can guarantee you, I can bring up your credit score, you know? So I think being transparent with your client goes a long way, and it will it will bring more work for you if you're transparent and if you do what you say you can do. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. I have all my everything in lined up for myself so that when I'm down there full time, I say it time and time again, I'm not turning back where I came from. You know, it takes a lot of planning to do this. Even I'm in an expat group, and it's a lot of us. A lot of us YouTubers are in this group, and we're all sharing informative information. And one of the things that we were discussing in the group last night, because everybody pretty much has their own idea of what the cost of living is in Dominican Republic. Now, I already know for me when I'm down there, I'm going to be living on a fixed income. There's some people that said that um, $2,000 a month is not enough money for a person to live off of. It all depends on your lifestyle. I will say this: certain parts of Dominican Republic are more expensive than other parts. If you're looking to move to Punta Cana is geared to attracting more foreigners, Americans, gringos, Europeans. So therefore, the cost of living in over in those parts is going to be higher than anywhere else. Okay, so you guys got to keep that in mind, and not just that, the electricity bill, all these things we were talking about. I'm like, damn, some of the YouTubers were saying their electricity bills anywhere between $400 to $800 a month. Yeah, a month, guys. So these are the kind of things that you guys should be researching before you move down there. And I stress it, I can't stress it enough. I say it to you guys time and over again. Y'all need to start getting active in these expat groups and Facebook groups so that you can get more insight, you know. Um, because I'm saying to myself, listen, for me, I don't really need to have a whole lot. This is one of the reasons why buying the other part of the land so that I can grow my own produce. Because whatever I can save money on is what I'm going to save money on. You know, and I think a lot of us we don't. I try for me anyway. When I go down there, I fail at it, but I still try. I try at least to live like a local and shop like a local. Well, I do those things, but I always spend more than what I'm supposed to. And I say, oh, you need to go down there and start get your mindset out of traveling there as a vacationer and start living like the locals do. You know, so it's going to be a big adjustment for me, for sure. Um, yeah, for sure. And I'm one of those people that like to treat and help this one. And I already know. And if you're one of those people, the kind of things that you're doing now, you're not going to be able to do once you're living there full time. Not unless you trump tight and you got the money, the means, and the resources to do it. But for somebody like myself, I'm being totally transparent with you guys. I'm going to be on a fixed income, so it's a lot of things that I'm just not going to do. And I'm trying to save is the reason for me leaving and uprooting myself out of the states for a better life and to save money. You know, and for a lot of folks that are down there, um, most of the people that I have interviewed on my channel have said that they have been able to save money living down there, you know, and these are women I'm talking about. Y'all all know, we all know women. When it comes to money, y'all love to spend it, So for a woman to say that she could survive, living in Dominican Republic on just a little over $1,000 a month says a lot. Says a lot. So I always say it depends on the kind of lifestyle that you want to live. I know me, yeah, granted I'm going to be on a fixed income, but it's still enough money for me to be comfortable. Now, if we're gonna put children and the family in the mix, then that's something different. I think I'm gonna need to be making more money, going out there trying to figure it out. But I'm just talking about for a single person. I say in Puerto Plata, you should be able to survive on $1,500 a month. You know, $1,500 a month, you should be able to survive off of for sure. You know, as a single person. Yeah, and if you are, I would say honestly, the cheapest places to live for a person that's on a fixed income, somebody that's only bringing in about $1,500 to $2,000 a month in Social Security. I'd say Santo Domingo and Santiago is the cheapest places to live for people who are on fixed incomes. Touristy areas, Sosua, and it's definitely not Punta Cana. Punta Cana is definitely not an option. Rick James, what's going on, my brother? What's going on? And for those of you guys that are just tuning in, I initially this live was supposed to be about health insurance plans, but the lady that sells the health insurance plans, she got sick, so she canceled on the last minute. So I figured I normally do my lives on Saturdays, so let me talk about credit consolidation and stuff. So this is pretty much what I was talking about for those of you guys who just tuning in. And be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate that. I gotta watch later. I'm at work. All right, Rick James, I appreciate you. I do. And for those of you guys who are traveling to the yard next month, I'm looking at flights now. Actually, I was looking at flights before I got on this live to see because I want to come down for January only because I got my Airbnb there now, and I need to go and check out my Airbnb. I haven't been there since I done paid the first month rent, and January 15th rent is due. Every the 15th of each month the rent is due. So I got to get down there and check out my spot at least a day or two. You know what I mean? And then I figure like once springtime hits, I'll be spending more time in Dominican Republic. Yeah. So right now, I'm just hustling, working, trying to save as much money as I can, so that I can be down there the way I want to be. You know what I'm saying? The way I want to be. Yeah. So that's what it is, guys. I think I did. For those of you guys who haven't seen the updated video of the crib, um, you guys can check it out. And I did get the numbers on the roofing, which I'm not really happy with the numbers. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, because I'm thinking that I can get it done cheaper, and I'm going to try. Never settle for just the first estimate. And I'll tell you, so in my case, I hate to say it, looking for laborers and technicians and stuff, that could be a task within itself, man. Especially if you somebody that's on a time schedule. So a lot of times I just settle for what I can get only because I don't have time to move around. And then if you got somebody there, you still got to pay them to do the legwork for you. So it's just like, what's the point? So yeah, certain cases, man, I just bite the bullet and just pay. But this time around, I'm going to shop around because what they are charging me, I think, is kind of pricey. $7,000 to do a roof just for the labor. Yeah, that's what they want. They want $7,000 to do the labor, and then the materials is costing me 4,100. So we're talking altogether 11,100. And I'm thinking that I could get that roof, the labor anyway. You can't change the price of materials, but the labor, you should be able to negotiate that. And if they're telling you no, then you call a bluff and move on to somebody else. All right, that's what you do. You call a bluff and you move on to somebody else. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on maybe like two more estimates because I'm trying to get I'm trying to get the roof done for about no more than $6,000. I'm trying to save about 1,000. So we'll see, we'll see, we'll see, and that probably won't, not probably. The roofing of my house won't be done until I say April, springtime of 2025, April. Yeah, I have the money then to go ahead and get it done. And between now and April, guys, I'm saving my money. I'm saving my money. A lot of you, I tell y'all all the time, now that my credit is screwed up, I don't have a good enough credit to go to a bank and get a loan, you know? So I'm paying everything that I'm doing, guys, is out of pocket. It's out of pocket, you know? So this is how I'm pretty much doing it. Otherwise, it could have been done faster, but for me, guys, I prefer to do it this way. I prefer to do it out of pocket. Yeah, it's taking me a little bit longer, but once it's all said and done, I don't owe anybody nothing. I don't owe anybody anything. You know, I can go down there and live in my house comfortable. You know, if you would said to me, he said, you know what, Jay, if you were to lose your job tomorrow, at least you got a house in DR you can go to. Worst case scenario, yo, I get my unemployment, and I'm living. I could make enough money to live off unemployment out there, man, because I don't have a mortgage. I won't have a mortgage. But one thing I will say now that I know, knowing that the cost of electricity is very expensive. When they told me in that group, some of the expats were saying they're paying anywhere between $400 to $500 a month. I'm like, nah, I got to get those solar panels, man. I got to get the solar panels. So just keep that in mind, guys. For those of you who don't know, electricity is very expensive, especially in Punta Cana, where a lot of y'all want to be. And I don't want, I'm not trying to deter anybody from, investing in Punta Cana. Like I say it time and time again, everybody has their own idea how they want to live, me personally, Punta Cana was never an option for me. Never an option. Um, Crazy World, he says, exactly, bro. Out of pocket is the best way. Yeah, it's the best way. It's the only way. It's the only way. Only because even though and I think I've told you guys before, how I managed to do it. I'm saving $1,000 a month, right? And then I'm in a money pool, which I'm the banker of, which I run every 6 months or so. And this is with friends and family. This is with friends and family. So we all put in $200 every 2 weeks, and then every 2 weeks, two people get the pot. So like for instance, the money pool that I'm running now, I don't never like it to run more than a year. So I usually want it like no more than 6 months. So right now I have 30 people in my money pool. And that is 30 people, each person is paying $200 every 2 weeks, right? So instead of paying one person every 2 weeks, I broke it up. I put 15 people in one hand and 15 people in the other, right? So every 2 weeks, instead of paying one, I'm paying two. And that's how it goes fast and fast and fast. You see what I'm saying? It's interest free. I'm not paying any interest on it. It's my own money. And yeah, this is pretty much how I'm managing to get by. Yeah. And he says that's because they running those air conditioners. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And this is another one of the reasons why I built my house up in the mountains. I'm high up in elevation. I got a lot of windows. Nighttime come, all I gotta do is open up my windows. I got plenty of cross ventilation going on, to whereas I ain't gotta worry about, air conditionings and stuff like that. Now I will say, you know, um, and this is why I tell y'all all the time, try to get close with a local that knows the ins and outs and knows how to finagle things. I say it all the time in DR, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So I'm well connected. I'm well connected. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna tell you, give a whole lot of information, but what I will say is that when it comes to me, um, I'm not really concerned about the electric bill. Let's just say that. Not really concerned about that. It's not what you know, it's who you know. All right. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy world. That's because of those air conditioners, and it's for you guys. Once you start, your house is nearly ready. You want to make your house energy efficient, so that you're not paying a whole lot of money. Because I'm telling you now, guys, from what the expats are saying in that group, um, electricity bills is extremely, extremely high. And then some that live in, like, smaller parts of the NDR, they're saying that their electric bill is 50, 60. So I guess it might depend on what part of DR you're living in, will determine what you're going to be paying every month for your electric bill. It all depends. But I'm hearing Punta Cana is extremely high. Extremely high. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, I just wanted to come on here, even though my interviewer canceled on me at the last minute. But as I said, it shit happens. So I'm not upset. I'm not upset. I'm just gonna waiting for an opportune time for her to come on and talk about different insurance plans, because we all need that, especially if we're gonna be living down there full time. I think all of us should be obtaining healthcare insurance. It's important, and in that way, you can get um, whether it be implants or whitenings, you know. And I did have a whitening done, guys. And I'm gonna tell y'all my experience, not to go out of topic, but I think y'all should know this. Um, my experience with getting a whitening done in the beginning was great. It was great. I was happy. I was satisfied with the job. But I found it a year later, after getting that whitening done, I ended up losing a tooth. I ended up losing a tooth because of this whitening. And I'm going to tell you guys, be careful. Be very, 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 very careful getting whitenings done in Dominican Republic. I've heard somebody say they lost all their teeth, in DR, so just be careful getting certain kind of cosmetic things done, especially when it comes to your mouth. And when I got, because I seen the tooth, the dentist here, when they pulled it, they said, "What happened to? I don't understand what happened to your tooth that we had to pull it, because it wasn't decaying. It was whatever they did to that tooth. I ended up losing it, and I had to get an implant, which cost me $3,000. To get just for one implant, I had to pay $3,000. Yeah. So I always say, certain kind of cosmetic work when it comes to your mouth, just have it done in the States. Um, when it comes to like an implant or something like that, I would get an implant in DR. At the time, if I knew what I knew now, I would have went to DR and got the implant instead of paying $3,000 here in the States. But once they pulled that tooth, it was visible. I couldn't walk around looking crazy with just, a missing tooth where you could see it. So I had to get that taken care of immediately, in which I did. So yeah, just be careful, guys, when it comes to getting cosmetic surgery, whitenings preferably, in Dominican Republic. You end up losing your damn tooth like I did. Yeah. So that's what it is, man. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I want to say before I close out? We're almost over an hour. Um, yeah, I guess that's it. Just stay tuned. I'll let you guys know, keep you guys updated with whether or not when I'm going to DR. More than likely, it'll. I want to go for my birthday, but which is in January next month. January 12th is my birthday. Yeah, I'll be 45. But the way it's looking, I'm probably gonna end up going towards the end because prices are crazy. I'm one of those people. I refuse to pay $800 on a round trip ticket when I'm always accustomed to just paying for foreign change. So if I gotta wait 2 more weeks, after my birthday to go, so be it. So be it. Yeah. Excuse me, I got the hiccups, guys. All right. Well, I'm closing out. I thank you guys for tuning in to the live. Be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe. I am doing another live tomorrow, so y'all stay tuned for that. Same time tomorrow. All right. Y'all be easy. Enjoy y'all Saturday. Until then, I'll be talking to y'all soon. Y'all stay safe. Peace and love always.